Hi, welcome to Living in the Light, and I'm Mary Amy, and I'm all about shifting away darkness, guiding you to your true potential, and cracking open that beautiful glowing light. Hello, welcome to the fifth dimension, New Earth Gaia. Here we are. Do you sense the shift? I'm going to get into that. And are you a star seed? Well, I haven't been around much lately, and you know that I've been having two jobs. So I have a day job and I have a night job, and then I had some health issues. And I feel as though I'm kind of going over the hump of that, and it's been difficult. Like I haven't worked out in basically a month, which is very hard on me because it's a way that I kind of release stress. But tomorrow I'm going to go to the gym. We're going to see how it goes. I hope everyone out there is well. And as I always say, it doesn't matter where you live, what you do, what you have, or what you look like. You're a beautiful being of light. You're highly advanced. You have a DNA blueprint within you that was kind of crushed, and now it's waking up. And the awakened, maybe you're an awakened being, knows that there's another belief system, another possibility. You're letting go of whatever you were brainwashed to think, whatever you were schooled in, and you're realizing that you have a mission. You're realizing that you have not been fulfilled, or you're not waking up every day feeling happy and excited to start the day. You have to really be aware of your thoughts, because you can go down the road, down the hill into negativity. And so why am I here? I am here because I share suggestions to heal. I touch on different topics, and I go down the rabbit hole, whether or not you're interested. And then I also do psychic phenomenon, some telepathy, because we have not really been practicing our telepathy since we were kids. We haven't been working on our clairsenses, our clairaudience, our clairvoyance, our clairsustenance. We have been just operating from a place of whatever's going on out here is all that exists. And we think we can have control of what goes on out in the outer world, but really all we have control over is what goes on in the inner world, ourselves. So tonight we're going to talk about topics like BASEL 3. What exactly is that? The gold standard television news. I'm going to mention the shift, being in a hypnotic state, and starseeds. Of course, I'm going to mention and we'll do some psychic phenomenon. Before I get into our topics, let me remind you, my 3 beginning suggestions are: 1, write down your dreams, your sleeping dreams, the moment you wake up, because like that, you forget them. And these dreams that you have, these sleeping dreams, are especially for you. They're not for anyone else. You're operating on a certain vibrational frequency. So whatever's entering your system, your emotional, your physical, your mental, and your spiritual system, your vessel, is meant for you. So don't forget that. You say, oh, it's just a dream. Well, that dream might just be telling you what you should be focused on, the direction you should go in. If you're kind of confused about something, maybe it's going to give you a solution. Or if you can't handle something while you're awake, it's too overwhelming, you're too anxiety or stressed out, have too much anxiety, you're stressed out, while you're sleeping, you might be able to, in your dreams, process whatever's going on. So my first suggestion is write down, as soon as you wake up, your dreams. Write a description, a little synopsis. You don't have to get an official dream journal. You can just write it down on a pad of paper. Write down how you were feeling. Who were the main characters in the dream? What was the weather like? What do you remember? In the last few days, personal experience, well, actually the last few weeks, I've had some very odd dreams. Now, I've told you that I have been going through this health crisis, and it seems as though something was stuck within my system. Now, I don't know how old it is. It might have been from when I was a kid, and it's been lurking, or it's maybe compartmentalized, a little pocket of negativity, but I've had what you call Mr. Smiths or dark entities that have come through in my dreams. I've also had some strange dreams with Elsa and some family members. And I've been doing some healing work and I'm getting better. And it seems as though God touched my heart, my soul, my spirit, because I woke up Saturday morning and I had this dream that 3 angels visited me, human angels. And the last one was this male angel, and he looked like a human, except he was wearing all white. I mean, he looked like a human, but I knew he was an angel, but he was wearing all white. It was kind of a typical scenario that you see in a film. And the point I'm trying to make to you is that when you're awake, you might not be aware of what's really going on. So while you're sleeping, there might be clues and information that you need to be aware of. Okay, so your dreams, I want to remind you that your thoughts are very powerful. For example, I woke up yesterday and I said to myself some really dark stuff. I woke up and I said, oh gosh, I'm going to feel bad again today. Now that's not like me, is it? I feel as though I sense as though I've hit rock bottom. I've never had so much pain. I'm having issues with my nerves on my left side. And I've never had so much pain where I can't sleep. And it's just very difficult. And so I woke up yesterday morning, poo-hoo for me, feeling sorry for myself. And I said, wait a second. No. I have to do I have to practice what I preach. I have to come from a place and think of a positive thought. And yes, I'll address that. I am feeling sad and defeated. However, I'm going to overcome, because it could be a lot worse, right? So our thoughts are very powerful. And then 3 are intentions, a commitment to do our best. Anyone who's joining us, I hope you like the video and subscribe to the channel and write in the chat and tell me what's going on, because I miss everyone. I miss being here. And like I said, I just am working so much day and night, and there's just no time. And when I get home from work at like 10 o'clock, I'm really too tired to do a live. But here I am, because I don't have work tonight, and I'm going to come on as much as I can. And also, let me remind you about angels are beings of light. They come from the heavens to earth. And I just mentioned I had a dream about 3 angels that visited me. And we can invite angels into our world, into our inner world, into our outer world. And they are here to protect us. They're here to guide us. And I don't know if they necessarily have these feathered wings or these halos, but they are a light-filled energy. And they are pure, and they are good. And if you have an open heart and an open mind, you might experience some kind of mystical experience. For example, I was at my job the other evening, and all of a sudden I had this mystical vision, and it was something very positive, and I needed it. And it's almost like I was given this, and maybe it was by Jesus or God or an angel, but it was definitely divine. So have an open heart. Okay, the first topic tonight. Hey, Bob Harding. My message therapist touched a spot in the neck that released so much energy. Well, good. Fantastic. You know, that's part of it. It's letting go. If we let go and we find our balance and we are grateful, eventually we'll get back to where we need to be. Or maybe we will find a new version of ourselves. And I think that's what happened to me in the last few weeks. I was fighting what was happening. And I tried all different ways of countering what was going on with me. In other words, I was arguing it's not happening. I was saying, I'm going to fight this. I was accepting it. I was working on it with a visualization. I was praying. I was giving up. I did everything. And yesterday I just said, you know what? I'm just going to go with the flow. Whatever it is, and I will get through it because most likely it's temporary. Most likely everything is temporary. And when we hold on too tight, we get disappointed. Okay, so BASEL 3. So BASEL 3, and some of this might seem like a foreign language, but I delved down the rabbit hole and I was hearing this terminology, BASEL 3, and there's another topic I'm going to get onto, and I didn't put it on the post because I didn't know if it would be a bad thing to mention in the posts, but I'm going to touch on that as well. So BASEL 3 requires banks to hold more capital against their assets. And it's an international regulatory accord that introduced a set of reforms designed to mitigate risk within the international banking sector by requiring banks to maintain certain leverages and keep certain levels of reserve capital on hand. It took effect January 2023, and it's supposed to be phased over 5 years. Why am I bringing this up? I've been hearing little possibilities. Maybe it's a myth. Maybe it's a rumor that the end of October, we are going to experience some kind of financial shift. Is that true? I don't know. But the BASEL 3 is some kind of regulatory accord that is basically preventing those in the banking system to just freely have transactions without actually having it there in their possession. Okay, and that's why I'm bringing up the gold standard, because there's some kind of change going on, and I sense that it's coming. And I want to tell you, though, what's interesting is when you go through some kind of really, at least for me, when I went through the last month of not feeling well, so much change, not being able to do my normal things like go out into nature, do this video, paint a painting, just anything that makes me feel like me, it starts to make you unravel. So you get down to the basics of who you are. And what I realized is I don't really want to watch all of these truthers anymore. I don't really want to hear about all of that. What's going to happen? When's it going to happen? I would just rather speak about healing strategies, maybe mention some topics, but kind of close my world a little bit and keep it to the basics. So my suggestion is that if you start to feel overwhelmed, is to kind of go back to your basics. And maybe it's a list of 3 or 4 items, what you need, so you can touch on at least one of them. Like for me today, it's doing this video. Tomorrow, it's going to be going to the gym, so that you keep or salvage the part of you that makes you feel like yourself. Because we can lose our identity and then we get tangled up into something else. It's just a suggestion. Okay, so the BASEL 3. Now I want to get into something before I mention the gold standard. I'm just going to mention it quietly and maybe no one will hear me. And by the way, I want to say that if you watch the video that I posted the other day with Sean Logan, before I started speaking to Sean, he said to me, "This video is going to get taken down." And I said, "Oh no, really?" He's like, "I'm going to say all this, I'm going to mention all these topics and your whole channel is going to get taken down." I said, "Please don't do that." And I had all of these questions ready to go. And he says this to me right when we're about to go record the video. And I had to just think on my feet. So I was kind of tumbling out the questions and trying to steer him away from getting me into trouble. And the topic I'm about to say, I'm going to give it briefly. I'm going to give it some initials so that you kind of look it up, or any of you guys out there, like I know Bob Harding knows who I'm talking about. I'm just going to give the initials, and then that way it won't get me into any trouble. So the K Mafia, okay, is the largest organized crime syndicate, terrorism, false flags, unconstitutional, the Federal Reserve System, the IRS, the FBI. They're behind it all. Now, it stems as far back as 1000 to 1200 AD. 1200 AD. And they've continued to be around, and they're in our reality. They're in our physical reality. The K Mafia. I'm just going to say it twice. That's it. I'm not going to say it again. They originated, get this, in ancient Babylonia arts. They ruled by an evil king. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because I believe that some being or thing or group did some black magic on me, and that's what was really affecting me ever since I did the video about Hawaii. Anyway, so the K practices black magic, secret Satanism, practices of sacrifice, draining blood, and eating hearts. Why am I saying this? Because it's a reality. We can say, oh, everything's just beautiful out there, which I know we're headed in that direction. But the reality is there still is some evil that is trying to ruin our lives forever and ever. And they've been around for a heck of a long time. So they believe in this eating hearts, ancient Baal worship, the worship of the owl. And it's what's interesting to me is I did this video about Bohemian Groves, and what is that? It's this secret group, and they meet annually in the summer. If you can watch the video, I did it 2 weeks ago, and they worship this owl, and they have these cloaks on, and there are a lot of participants. So this is a real thing. It's not made up. They have blood sacrifices of children. They invaded England, City of London, set up banking capital, practice of black magic, created money from nothing. So they made up this whole system. Now, it would be like you and I say, hey, here we go. Everybody, we're all one. We love each other. Forgive, forgive, forgive. Service to others. Let's create a civilization. Okay, here we go. We're going to have some of these special seeds, which I'm looking into, heirloom seeds, which they are have no GMOs, and they are these special seeds. They're special seeds. Maybe that's where the what was it? The giant Jack and the Beanstalk. Maybe those were the heirloom seeds. And we decided we were going to have this beautiful civilization, and everyone was going to love one another and be together and help each other and find their mission and just have a fun life. Well, this group that I'm referring to decided to have their own civilization, and it was about enslavement. It was about utilizing humans for their energy, make them work, tell them that the only way that they can get from place to place is with a car and gasoline. Here you have to pay taxes. No one's going to be able to have anything cured. You're going to have big pharma, that kind of thing. So this is their civilization that they created. And guess what? We are going to send light and love to as many people as we can. We're going to do this grid work. I've talked to you about grid work, and we're going to imagine grids of light like this going into certain locations, and maybe wrap this kind of light. If you can imagine that this is light, a checkerboard like this, and you're wrapping, or you are coming from the top and the bottom, and you're putting light through other beings, and there's nothing negative or dark about that. This organization, this large organized crime syndicate, is the opposite of that. And they took over European banking. They're a front for the Rothschilds. And this is what they believe. Together, they forced a powerful satanic secret society full of very rich businessmen and politicians that infiltrated power centers around the world. Today, they open They own more than 37 million corporations worldwide. So yes, it's across the board. This is not a made up thing. This is not me sitting here going, oh, I'm just going to make up a story. In fact, it's going to be a novel. No, this is real. This is a real thing. You can wrap your brain around it. They're Illuminati group funded. And in the US, this is a group of 6,000 elites, and they're in politics, in Hollywood, in the media, and they have a purpose to destroy the US Constitution, human rights in America. And their object, their mission, like my mission is love for all, light across the board. We are the first timeline arrivals. And their mission is to force Satanism upon the people and totally enslave us. All right, so that's the negative stuff I'm going to mention. And that's done. I'm done all through, no more. I'm going to mention television, but it's not going to go as dark as that. And what I know is you allow as much darkness as you allow light. In other words, if you can wrap your brain around the darkness, then you can wrap your brain around as much light. And I know it's hurtful and it's sad, and you say, this is breaking my heart and it breaks mine. However, we have to be aware. We can't be complacent. We can't look a blind eye, because you will be asked, which direction are you going in? For example, I was at the beach. Well, I was at the boardwalk today. Elsa and I went down there, and she barked at a million dogs because she does that. And this woman walks up wearing one of these, and she's handing out pamphlets. And she walks up and she's saying some words. And I said, no, thank you. Because I'm not accepting that. Now, you probably know what pamphlet I'm talking about. It's some kind of religious pamphlet. Nope, not interested. Nope, I know what I believe. And that's where you have to come from. You have to realize that every decision that you make matters. Every single decision. So be careful. Now, the gold standard, I believe, is soon to be here. You will be hearing over and over, gold and silver, gold and silver, gold and silver. I'm also hearing about dinar, but I don't really understand that. I don't really understand this Middle Eastern currency, dinar. It's Iraqi. I don't know what's going on with that, but I do understand gold. I mean, we've grown up with gold. You see a movie or a TV show or a film or a story, and way back when in medieval times, it was all about how much gold you had. So I understand the value of gold. Do you? So the gold standard is soon to be here. We are about to have the collapse of the fiat dollar. This bankrupt and corrupt system, this monetary system in which the standard economic unit of account is based on a fixed quality of gold, is what is happening. So it's going to be kept at a value of fixed. Now, after World War II, Western powers adopted a new international monetary system, made the US dollar the world reserve currency. After global pressures in the 1960s and 70s, President Nixon abandoned the gold standard in 1971. Well, it's coming back. Woohoo! It's coming back. The gold standard is coming back. Dollars are going to be backed by the gold standard if we in fact do use dollars. And right now our dollars are backed with nothing. All right, so there you go. I did that. Moving on. Now, does anyone have anything they want to share with me before I get on to the next topic? Is Elsa asleep back there? I think she is. She's asleep back there. So I want to, because I do want to get into some psychic phenomenon, and I don't know how much energy I will have. I want to mention light on the horizon. And I always say that I had these dreams, these sleeping dreams. And this is going back a few years ago, and I would be in my bedroom, and I would wake up, and this was my dream, and I would see this rectangle It was the rectangle, it was a window, and I'd go up to the window, and there I would see light on the horizon. And so I started coming up with this phrase, light on the horizon. And just like some of the other things that I say, I don't know where they come from, but I must have been educated about that before because it seems like it comes out of me naturally. So light on the horizon means good things are coming beyond your view. A difficult situation will improve. Now, if you're going through something difficult, I'm not going to say that's easy. I don't know what it is. All of us have something. Maybe it's something that you're troubled with in you, your personality. It might be something that you're undergoing or trying to overcome. It might be financial. It might be something spiritual. It might be a person in your life that is causing you havoc or pain. You might have a trauma that you're suffering, and I'm just going to share with you. I know it can be hard, and I'm sorry. I'm wishing you good things. I want good things for you, and I want you to also remember light on the horizon. Now, it's something that makes you think that a difficult situation will improve. And to me, it's a sunrise. And it's farther than you can possibly see. So it's basically about having a belief, a faith that you will be okay. There's going to be no proof. Just like when I say we're doing our psychic phenomenon, there's no actual proof. It's not a piece of paper. It's not going to come in the form of a cup. There's going to be no proof that your difficult situation will improve. But have faith. Now, it might be just baby steps. Like what I started to do was I was saying, I want this to be over. I can't deal with this anymore. When is it going to be over? And I started looking in the future. And I realized today, in fact, I said no, because it's too overwhelming. I have to live in this moment. And so let's remind ourselves right now. Hey, Bob Harding, what are you saying? My eyes have to get these countries. No. Yes. Oh, black facts by Lynn. Thank you, everyone who's liking the video. So, thank you, Bob Harding. Anyone who'd like to comment, I'd love to hear from you. Everything's welcome. It doesn't have to be positive. It can be whatever is true to you. Whatever is true to you. Because that's all I care about is what's real. I want real. I'm all about real. So let's remind ourselves to be in this moment. To be in this moment. Because that's enough this moment. Everything else seems overwhelming to me. If I just go moment to moment, yes, I have a loose plan. And really, my plan only goes till tomorrow because I don't know what's going to happen. But let's just focus on this moment. So how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to remind ourselves to put all our weight in our bottom, like I say. Imagine the root of your spine, your root chakra, the base of your spine is going down into the earth. Maybe you uncross your legs. You let out a breath. You let go of any tension you have in your arms. Maybe you move your neck around. And you try to find some kind of peace within you. You push away any thoughts because it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter what you were thinking about 5 minutes ago or where you're going to, because we're in this moment. That's where all the energy lies, is in this moment. When we get lost into what's happened or where we're going, we lose our energy. We lose the moment, and we lose the possibility of creating something new and genuine and real. So all of us right now, we are going to let go of anything except this moment. We're going to, maybe we have to touch something. Like I say, here's a pumpkin. I went apple picking and I got this pumpkin. Okay? Maybe you pick up a cup. So here we are in this moment, and what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to let out a breath, like I said, and I'd like you to imagine all of your chakras, which start at the base of your spine and they travel up. Okay, so we have your root chakra, your sacral chakra, which is your sex organs. You have your solar plex, which is above your belly button. You have your heart chakra, which is your heart space. That's key. Your throat chakra, which is your expression. We want all of this flowing properly. If you're not saying what you mean, you're blocking your heart chakra. If you're not allowing yourself to feel, you're blocking your heart chakra. If you're not coming from a place where you're opening up your eyes, then you're blocking your third eye chakra. And then we have our crown chakra. And then beyond that, we have 5 other chakras, don't we? So we want the line to flow all the way up. We get all the way up to, I think it's the cosmic chakra, the galactic chakra. We want to remind ourselves that we are beautiful beings of light. We are worthy. We want to cherish ourselves. We want to have love for ourselves in this moment. We don't want to shame ourselves. We want to take care of ourselves. Because guess what? No one out here is going to love us unless we love ourselves. And if they do, maybe you're going to attract someone who's toxic. So we want to love ourselves first and foremost. And we want to accept ourselves. So let's right now tune into our heart. We're in this moment, reminding ourselves that we are worthy beings of light, and we cherish ourselves, and we're going to tune into our hearts, and we're going to ask ourselves how we feel. How are you feeling? And can you come up with one emotion? One emotion. And then you accept it, whatever it is. Maybe you say, I feel like poop. Maybe you say, I feel indifferent, or I'm excited, whatever it is. So I'm going to tune in right now. I'm going to be quiet and see if I can get to myself and how I'm feeling. Okay, so I don't know if this is emotion, but I feel weathered. I feel like I've been through a really bad time. But I can say that the silver lining is I found out more about who I am. And maybe I needed to go through what I've been going through, and maybe it made me stronger. So every time we overcome something, we have to look at the silver lining and say, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm a stronger person and something great is about to happen to me, which is light on the horizon. Good things are coming beyond our view. Okay, so anyone who's joining us, I hope you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now let me get on to television news. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because in the last few weeks, there's been a lot spoken about this war going on, these wars. And I'm at my job in the Matrix, and that's all I'm hearing about. Now, I didn't really hear about it much this week, but I was hearing a whole lot about it last week. And I was kind of puzzled by it because I don't really watch the news. So I kind of said, let me just look into television news. And let me see where exactly, and I've told you in the past that I looked up television news. And now the television was created, supposedly. I mean, we know that there's this advanced technology that we're not privy to, that there's these anti-gravity vehicles that we're going to be floating around in, and we don't really need these gas-powered or electric cars because we can really be transported in time machines, through telekinesis, biolocation, and anti-gravity vehicles. So I don't really know how advanced our televisions are or our computers. I think they're baby toys to the elite cabal that have been keeping us from all of these patents. And so I said, let me look into the television. I want to learn about television news because everyone's talking about the news, and oh my gosh, the news. So we're going to take it down to the basics of the industry and who the top advertisers are. But before I get into that, I'm going to mention to you The first news program in the US was from March 1940. I'm also going to share with you when I was a little bitty girl, I was walking through my town in a parking lot of a club that my dad we went to, and a very famous news broadcaster was walking through the parking lot, and his name was Walter Cronkite. I don't know if you know who that is. And he gave me his autograph, and he wrote on a napkin. And I know I have it somewhere in my belongings, but it was interesting because he was a very famous newscaster. So the very first news program in the United States started out, I don't know if you know this, with 15-minute segments. That's all it was. It wasn't even its own show. It basically it came through during a program, like a little kind of commercial. This is the news. And it was experimental. And it was only seen in New York City at 6:45. So it was these 15-minute segments. I don't know if you're aware of this. It's interesting. And that was WCBW, and it's now known as WCBS. And they then premiered a broadcast at 2:30 and 7:30 weekdays, and they featured Richard Hubble with a script and maybe a photo or a map. It was very basic. It would be like me doing a newscast right now. So it wasn't this big deal. It wasn't, what it's been made out to, because then I started searching and I said, holy Toledo, how many news shows are there? It's a little bit insane. In fact, there's actual channels for news. And then they highlight the news. And then my local TV, I turn it on, and it's this channel 12, and it's news, news, news all the time. I don't really care because I don't know what's true and what's not true because it's paid programming. So the first news bulletin, December 7th, 1941, was about Pearl Harbor being bombed. And it started with, like I said, breaking into these TV programs with news alerts. By 1946, CBS television news had these 15-minute broadcasts. Okay, again, I'm going to say, and you're going to say, Mary, why are we talking about this? Why are we here? Because we need to know where things stem from, where they came from, where it began. And then we can kind of have more of an idea of the whole picture. Like I say, I like to see all the boundaries of something. And that's why I'm sharing it. Now, if you're not interested, you can come back, and I'm going to be talking about starseeds and do psychic phenomenon. It's going to be just a few moments more. Then NBC had regularly scheduled television news. Then in 1963, they expanded 15 minutes. Now, I would love it if that's all we had. I would be like, no problem. I can handle 15 minutes. But to have program after program of these negative stories and putting fear, and people are white knuckling it. Have you ever realized that when you watch a news program and it's over, you start to have a racing heart, you start to have higher blood pressure, you start to have fear, low vibrational emotions. That's what news does, because there's not anything happy. It's all negative stories. Yes, exactly. They're spellcasters, 1,000,000%. Now, top advertisers like Pfizer, which is worth $100.33 billion, that's their revenue from 2021 to 2022. 2023, it's saying that they have 12 billion. And then they forecast 67 billion. And that's from advertising. That's advertising. Because if I decided to have a company, do you think I'm going to walk around making that billions of dollars? No, it's all advertising during these television programs. Okay, so in 1962, Walter Cronkite, the newscaster that I met, was on his own ABC Evening News until 1981. Now there's local news. Think about all these news shows: local news, national news, morning news, radio news, public sector, private sector, Fox Corp, CNN, Fox, Warner Brothers, Paramount. Okay, here's an example. CNN audience. CNN audience. 828,000 and 1.8 billion in 2022. Fox, 2,147,000 in 2022 with 3.3 billion. Then there's Paramount Global, Walt Disney Company, Comcast, ABC News, CBS News, CNN, Fox Channel, MSNBC. Isn't this ridiculous? All this news. Can we do something better with our time and energy than watch news? Like, is this even in your backyard? Do we know what's true or not? Is any of this fake? Do we know if it's real? Is there credibility? So the number one news channel is ABC, then there's CBS, ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, New York Times, Fox News, MSNBC. And let's see, what else do I want to tell you? So here's some famous news anchors and how much money they make. And I'm almost done talking about this because I'm sick of it. A news anchor, let's see, here's a few. I'm going to smile my way through this. Laura Ingram's, 40 million. Megyn Kelly, 45 million. Brian Williams, 50 million. These people are making all of this money to tell you really horrific stuff that's happening. And they are getting paid by advertisers. Anderson Cooper, 50 million. Diane Sawyer, 80 million. Bill O'Reilly, 85 million. Rachel Maddow, 35 million. Brett Baer, 16 million. Aaron Burnett, 20 million. So my point is that just be aware and have some personal overview, I guess, opinion. Don't just take this at face value. Now, is everything untrue? No. But I have to say, if there's one lie, then I can't believe any of it. All right, so that's all I have to say about the news. No more about the news. I'm sick of talking about the news. Do I like television? I like television because I like watching programs. I just believe it's fantasy. I don't take too much of it seriously. I'm just a truth seeker. All right, so let's get on to this shift. Do you believe and feel as though, I mentioned the chakras, here's a picture so you can see. We were talking about chakras earlier, just so you have a visual. You know how I am about visuals because I'm a visual person. There is a shift that's going on, and the shift is going to be personal. You are going to have to discover what you want to do, who you would like to be. It's basically you're going to delve down into yourself, have some self-actualization and realization, because there are more and more truths being uncovered. There's more disclosure, and the world that you believe exists is a cardboard cutout. And behind the cardboard is going to be a dark, dark reality. And when you wrap your brain around that and you say, oh, I've been lied to. That was a lie. I can't trust anybody. You're going to have to turn inward and you're going to have to discover exactly who you are. And it's not going to be about, let's say, I don't even know what I have. The stuff that you have, like this little alien face. It's not going to be whether or not you have the most beautiful clothes, the most beautiful car, the most beautiful house, or whatever occupation you have. It's going to be the world that we are shifting to is all about who you are. You. Not stuff, not possessions. So you're going to have to discover. So the shift, we are exchanging one world for another world. We are changing, we are relocating, and we are going to move into a new direction. I'm just beginning to discover ways in the future that I will be able to maybe, I don't know if it's going to be money like dollars, but ways that I will be able to survive because I don't know if my jobs in the matrix will exist anymore. So you have to consider that. We are waking up. We have been in sleep. We've been inoperative. We've been living in a dormant state because we trusted and believed because we are good. And humanity thought that the leaders that were representing us were out for our, I guess, for our well-being. And we are basically being altered. Our consciousness is rising. We're going to a higher consciousness. And when I say that, what do I mean? We're realizing that we are all one, that every living being is part of you. We're all part of a whole. We are taking away this whole divide. It's all about them against us. And we have been raised in a society and a culture that it's always them or me. And it was done with religion, with whatever genetics you had. It's been done with how we look. That's all that social media is. How you look. Does that look good? Are you liked? Are you followed? And are we good enough? And the shift that we're going into, this new world that we're going into, or we already are maybe, if you have the mindset, is not a world about stuff and things and what you look like. It's about your personality. It's about what your mission is. It's about love. Now, we are waking up. We are becoming aware. We're more conscious because we've been asleep. And you might have awakened through, I don't know, there's many different means. You might have heard a word and it awakened you. You might have found it spiritually. Maybe you were having a dream. You might have found it in nature. Maybe a friend awakened you. You might have saw something on the news and you said, that's a lie. And you started looking behind the cardboard cutout. Whatever it may be, you're not the only one who's becoming awakened. A lot of the population on Earth is becoming awakened. And is it gradual? It's being gradual. It's going to happen faster and faster. We are undergoing a transformation. And we are going to be changing positions. When I think of television and I think of the news, I believe it puts you in some kind of hypnotic state. And that is why the masses follow, because it's some kind of hypnotic state. I don't know if it's through a mechanism, a machine, or it's through a frequency, but they are under some kind of hypnosis. Now, I'm not under hypnosis because I had a near-death experience, and I don't know, maybe, I don't know why. I was at some point believing everything, and then I started turning inward. It might have been a few events that came together. I was doing a lot of art. I started turning inward. I'm not quite sure. It might have been through a friend, a book, whatever it may be. I am now no longer asleep. And I believe that we should start to focus our attention in a different direction. So we're going to get into some psychic phenomenon in a minute. Before I do that, I want to mention to you starseeds. Now, I said this before. Now you could say, oh, this is really kooky stuff. She's talking about the starseeds again. But really what starseeds are is, I start to wonder, is this a concept? Is this just another way of saying an awakening? These allegedly are what's called Arcturians, and they are a species of extraterrestrials. And they are peacemakers. Starseeds are known as these beings, these species that come from other stars, and they come to the earth, and they're incarnated on the earth to awaken humanity to this higher consciousness, more awareness, waking them up. They have a human body with an extraterrestrial soul, and their mission is to save consciousness and basically ask themselves, where is my tribe? So starseeds are also known as light workers. Now, maybe you've heard some starseeds, like I have a couple of friends and they speak this light language. Maybe you've had a dream and you've had a lucid dream and it looks like this with light. I've had dreams and there's sacred geometry, there's light, and it was going on for me for 2 years and it's basically stopped. I haven't had very many lucid dreams. Yes, I've had spirits come to me. Usually every night I have spirits that come right to my face, but I haven't really been having any of these kinds of visitations anymore. You might have just awakened and you start to have some of these light codes, or you see some kind of blue light or lavender light, maybe different, it looks like different symbols. We also have this, which is angelic celestial writing. So starseeds, lightworkers, are people that believe they came from another solar system. They basically a cosmic location, another galaxy, another planet, another dimension. And to each other, they are undeniably trust their purpose, love, or each other. And what does that mean? Well, I believe I'm a starseed. And when I come in contact with someone that's an instant friend, someone that it's almost like we're telepathically talking without speaking. We are basically. I know them to be, they came from the same place as I have. It's undeniable. You have a trust, a love, a connection. It's like you've known them your whole life. Star people was a term invented in the 1970s, known as earth angels, and it was this term that came from earth angel meets ancient astronaut, and they're here to save the world, aliens on earth. So now here we are in a world where it's based on consumerism, it's based on capitalism, it's based on get out of my way, I'm getting to the prize. And this shift that we are undergoing on our beautiful earth, our new earth Gaia, is no longer going to have these policies, these, centers of thought, which is, it's all about me, service to self. Like, don't take it personally. It's just business. That's going to be done away with. So starseeds and the world that we are headed to, the world that we are actually in right now, I should say, is going to take the place of consumerism, selfishness, pain, disloyalty, evil. And starseeds are taking this opportunity to shift the planet's frequency. Like here I am right now, and my mission is basically to get to the telepathy and for you to practice so that you realize how important you are. You have a dormant DNA blueprint within you. And maybe you're hearing some tones, some high-pitched tones in either of your ears. You might be having some lucid dreams. You might be starting to change your personality, your sleep habits, your eating habits. You might not feel like yourself. You might no longer want to hang out with certain people because you're becoming more of who you are that has been dormant. Star seeds are known as conduits to engage with humans and the meaning of life, to communicate light language, ascend awareness, pure love, help you follow your intuition. That's what I'm here for, to say, hey, what is a hunch that you have? Have you had a premonition? Are you a precog? Are you receiving some kind of information? Now, when you receive, it's going to be a flash of information. It's not going to be like when someone speaks to you. It's going to be a physical feeling that you know is from outside your body. It's like a flash of information. It's a sensation. It's an impression. And I'm here to tell you that that's okay. So accept, accept, accept. The more you accept, the faster you'll go through it. You have to have a willingness to allow all of this change to come within you. Again, I can't offer you any proof. You can say, I don't believe it. And then that's your mistake, because you're going to miss out. You're going to have to play catch up. And the best way I can say for you to start to discover this within you is to spend some time alone, in a quiet space. You turn off your technology and you listen. You just close your eyes and you see and hear. What can you hear? Now you might say, well, I have all these thoughts that are coming into my mind. What you say is you say, okay, I accept I have these thoughts. I'm going to take a break from these thoughts. I'm going to get back to the thoughts later. Let's just listen. Let's not even think about what we're hearing. We're just going to tune into our senses. That's it. That's all I'm asking. Is just start to tune into your senses, because before you know it, is after you begin to do this, you will realize that you're going to start hearing what other people are thinking. You're going to get information just meant for you. It's just you. I can't tell you how you're going to feel and think. You have to accept that within you. My talents and abilities are going to be completely different than yours. You might say, guess what? I have no clairaudience. I'm clairvoyant. I'm clairsestinent. I'm empathic. I'm claircognizant. Your gifts are going to be yours. Maybe you're going to be a channeler. Maybe you're going to be a medium. You might be able to grab someone's pen and know everything about them. You might start to have premonition dreams. Everyone's going to have different gifts. And it's pretty exciting. The more you accept it, the more it's going to come through. And then the more of your personality is going to rise up. And you are going to feel like kind of a different person. All right, so we're going to expand our psychic abilities, our seeing, our hearing, and our feeling. And let's do that right now, because we're hitting the 1 hour mark. Who is that? Is that music? Music, you're back. Let's see. What does this say? Wait, what does this say here? Bob Hardy. What are you saying? TV programming or spinning cliches. Yeah. Hi, music. Hi. Gonna have to rewind. No worries. Well, you know what? I made it here. Okay, so let's do some psychic phenomenon, because I need it. And I have to tell you, I had a breakthrough the last video that I did, the last live. And I had gone into my third eye and I saw this dark entity. And then I proceeded to basically have these dreams with different dark entities, some really bizarro stuff. And it felt very vivid and real. And I believe it was. And it was a little disturbing. But because I wasn't feeling well, I really couldn't focus on it. And what did I do? I sent it light and love. And I'm going to continue to do that. When we're at our weakest, that's when darkness tries to take over. And we have to stand strong. We have to go to our base of our spine and pull up all of our power and bring it out here. And remind ourselves that we can have boundaries. Now, you want to have this invisible line that you imagine around your being 12 inches from your body. And I used that last week. I was at my job in the Matrix, and someone came over and touched my hair that I don't know. And I said, hey, wait a minute. Don't do that again. And they were like, oh. And I said, that's not cool. And I set my boundaries. You're allowed to say no. You're allowed to say no, that's not okay. Don't do that again. So imagine that you have this invisible line surrounding you 12 inches from your body, and no one is allowed to enter this space physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually unless you say it's okay. Unless you say it's okay. Sometimes people have no idea what's appropriate. So you have to make them aware. All right, so let's get into some psychic phenomenon. I'm going to remind you that you are capable of predicting events, cause and effect. You can change the outcome. Let me remind you, how is that possible? Through your thoughts. If we sit here and we say, oh, that's just never going to happen. And if we share all of our goals and our desires and dreams and what we believe to be our destiny with people out in the physical reality, I'm going to tell you right now, most people do not have their act together, and they will ruin your dreams, desires, and destiny just from what they think, because our thoughts are powerful. They carry a charged impulse. There's emotions and feelings attached. So be careful with who you share your personal goals, dreams, and desires with. Now, of course, at some point when you make some of it a reality, of course you can share, but initially try to keep it to yourself, close to your vest, right? So let's realize that we are capable of predicting events. Now, how? We can see them in our mind's eye. Maybe it's in our actual mind. Here's our third eye, but maybe if we close our eyes, we see it in maybe our imagination, or we have some kind of flash of information and we say, oh, what was that? And then we try to decipher what it was. Now, if you pay attention to all the sensations that you're receiving, one by one through the day, at first you only might receive one a week. You might then begin receiving one a day, a couple a day. And it's a matter of how much energy you give it. Now, if you get a sensation and you have this idea that flashes through you, like, for example, I had this idea that flashed into my mind yesterday to make a way to make some money, income. I could have said, that's stupid. Instead, I started writing it down and did some research and said, is this a possibility? And I'm still investigating because the world is changing and I want to get ahead of it. So I can change the outcome based on how much energy I give something and how much support I give it. And also my thoughts. If I sit here and say it's impossible, then obviously that's going to be the outcome. 0. We can change the energy around us by doing the ball of light. we've practiced bringing positive energy around us. And we can practice shielding ourselves with white light. If we go into a crowd of people, we want to visualize a band of white light, foot long, that's surrounding us to protect us. If you want to practice healing yourself, I can give you a tip. You want to visualize light circling you counterclockwise 3 times and clockwise 3 times. And that's a way of taking away any negativity. If you can do that, if you're advanced enough to visualize light spinning around you. If that resonates with you. Okay, so let's practice some psychic phenomena. Wait, what does this say? Penetrating around a corner and we crash through the barrier. Wow. We're sailing through the air as I just said, I love you, buddy, and close my eyes. Wow. Wow. Music, that's unbelievable. Morphed into something. Something what? Morphed into something else. Strange. Don't share with your friends anything you are an amazing one now. Thankfully, I don't know. You guys are funny. All right, so anyone who's joining us, I hope you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Okay, let's practice. Let's do some psychic phenomenon. All right, so let me just see. I was getting a bunch of phone calls. Okay. All right. What time is it? 9:30? Okay. All right, so I'd like everyone to let go any tension that you have in your body. Just let go of any tension that you have. Maybe let out a breath. Now I know I'm just going to share with you. I tried when I wasn't feeling well in the last few weeks. This was hard for me to do. I couldn't center myself. I couldn't ground myself. I couldn't find myself. I was lost. And I have sympathy for anyone who says that they have pain. Because until you have some real pain in your body, you don't know what it's like. And it's not easy and it's depressing and you feel defeated and you feel like everything's impossible. But my one bit of advice would be, or suggestion would be, keep moving. Don't give up. Keep moving and get through it. And go with the flow. Go with the flow. That's what I say now, is go with the flow. All right, so I'm recommending right now that we just let go of any tension that we have. So maybe you imagine yourself to be a rag doll. So you're letting go of tension. And you allow any kind of energies to drop through your fingertips, out. Let out a breath. If you have to say something, let it out. Let's let everything out. Let it out. Move your neck around. And then imagine all the weight in your bottom. And you're going to imagine your feet going down into the earth, wiggling your toes, the base of your spine going into the earth, downward. We're pushing away any thoughts. And we're saying, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to try this. I'm going to give it a chance. Why not? And we're going to take away doubt. We're going to say anything is possible. Because when we take away doubt, we take away negativity, we're opening the door, we're unblocking ourselves, and who knows what could happen. I have to tell you, one thing I discovered was I wasn't making my dreams big enough. When I would sit here and I'd say, let's have our destiny right in front of us, I was thinking of the smallest thing. I'm looking bigger now because you have to shoot high to get here. You have to shoot high. So I'm thinking as big as I possibly can, the most humongous destiny. All right, so we're letting go of any tension. And now what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to focus on your breathing. And we're going to do 3 inhales and exhales, and we're going to have a 9 count. So we're really going to work it. We're going to really focus on our breath. So we're going to inhale for 9, hold it for 9, release for 9. And let's do it together. Okay, so hopefully you have a little bit more of calmness coming through you. The more calm we are, the more relaxed we are, the more capable we are of receiving and being aware of it. Like our body will understand it more. We'll see more, we'll feel more, we'll know more. And that's why it's important to just be relaxed. So we're dropping down into our physical vessel. We're having concentration and focus. So when you receive a sensation, maybe it's going to come in the form of a mental picture. Maybe you're going to hear a voice, you're going to hear a word, you're going to hear a sound, maybe a splash of water. Maybe you'll hear talking. Maybe you'll see something. Maybe you'll feel something. You're going to know something. You're going to have a knowing. This is your 6th sense. This is your extra sensory perception. You're allowing this. You're saying, yeah, I'm telepathic. Yeah, I can do this. When you say you can do it, you will do it. And like will attract like, you will find more of those out there and you'll be more clear. All right, so we are now more calm, more peaceful, more knowing. And I'm going to give a suggestion. Now, before I give the suggestion, what I always say is tune into, maybe you're tuning into your hearing. Maybe you're saying, you know what? I have a gift for hearing beyond the walls of the room. Or you're going to say, I can see another dimension. I know what's going to happen tomorrow or in a minute from now. Or I can see someone else's life or memory. Or I'm capable of astral projection or talking to spirits. There's many possibilities. And you are capable of at least one of the things I'm saying, possibly 3 or all of them. It's just practice. Maybe you're feeling, maybe you're like, oh, I feel that person's, I feel their emotions. And you go into a crowd and you absorb everything and you're like, oh, that's when you have to imagine the light. All right, so one of those I'd like you to tune into. Now for me, I always say my hearing because that's what I've worked on. I started out as a clairvoyant. I would see in my 3rd eye and I was already empathic. So now this is my 3rd skill that I've learned. Now what happens if nothing comes to you? Does that mean, no, we're not taking that as impossible. You're just going to go to another sense. That means try something else. Don't give up. And also don't push. Just say, I'm going to allow it. All right, I'm going to be quiet now. I'm going to give a suggestion. Okay, so my suggestion right now is, I'm going to tune into my hearing. Maybe it's sense of touch. I forgot that. Smell or taste. Whatever works for you. My suggestion is to see the most positive location in the universe. to see the most positive location in the universe. Now, whatever that means to you, I'm going to be quiet. Tune into one of your senses or more than one. Okay, I don't know if you received anything. I did, and I'm surprised. Hey, Jenny. Hello, Jenny. Okay, so this is I'm very surprised. I'm going to share it with you. And you share with me if you'd like. I vividly had a memory. I experienced a memory. So for me, when I first said this, the most positive location in the universe, I thought I was going to get taken to another land. I was imagining something in another land. That's what I was imagining. For some reason, it was in nature. Where I went was to when I was a small girl. Maybe I opened up part of me this past week because I've been really delving into myself more. When I was a little girl, my next door neighbors, the family was very together and they took care of each other, and there was a bunch of kids, and I felt like I was a member of the family. And I vividly saw, and I haven't seen this memory or remember this memory, I saw myself playing hopscotch and then being invited for dinner, and I saw their inside of their house vividly, and I remembered what it looked like and the way the family was and how they treated me and how they were always so nice. And so I guess that was the most positive location in the world, in the universe to me, because that's where I felt most loved maybe in my life, in a family atmosphere. All right, so I don't know what experience you had. Now, before we go, what I'd like to do is I'd like to rub our hands together because we're going to go. It's 1:17. I'm rubbing my hands together and we're creating a ball of light. Why? Why? Because we are here bringing more light onto the earth, and we are actually creating a ball of light. It's a ball of energy, and it's positive. Now, if you are taking any kind of medication or medicines, you might not feel on your palms of your hand, which you should be feeling some things. So we rub our hands together, and now I'm a Reiki master. And one of the things that we did, side note, is that we would rub our hands together and then we would put inside a ball of light whoever we were sending healing energy to. Now that's a possibility too. You can stand here and you can create this ball of light, and hopefully you feel something on your palms. And if you do, then you've created a ball of light. You can cup your hands. You can visualize someone in this light. This is pure. This is good. There's nothing negative or dark about this. And you can too be a light worker. You can be sending love. And I'm going to do that right now, and then I'm going to move the ball of light around just because. So what you do is you visualize a certain person. I mean, you have to ask permission. So you say, can I do this? You always have to ask permission. And so I am doing this, and I'm putting someone in this ball of light. And you can do that as long as you're feeling it. You should be feeling some kind of frequency or vibration on your palms, moving back and forth. And as long as that person wants to take the light, And then you can either put your hands together and end it, or you can stay until they no longer want to take it. Most beings want to take the light. So I'm going to do it for a minute longer, a second longer, and then I'm going to create the ball of light. Okay, and then you say goodbye, and you put your hands together. That's just a little tip. All right, so now I'm going to create a ball of light, and I'm going to put it around me. And I'm making this suggestion so that you actually have light around you. So I'm going to put it all around my human energy field, and I'm bringing light here, and I'm actually wishing good things for you because you're a beautiful being of light. Doesn't matter where you live, what you look like, what you have, or what you do. And tonight we covered topics like BASEL 3, the K-Mafia, Gold Standard, television news, the first program, the shift, being in a hypnotic state, Starseeds, and we did some psychic phenomenon. Okay, so that's it. What else are you guys saying? Just had a thought. Wait, what does this say? I want to see what this says before I go, because then I don't really have time to look at the... I just had a thought that most positive places still only exist in the universe of duality and the imaginative potential. Huh. Nothing is positive or negative. All right, there you go. Nothing is positive or negative. Okay, fair enough. I accept all of that. All right, so I'm spinning light and you're in the center of it, and I'm thanking Ginny and Bob Harding and music and anyone else who's watching this video. I'm really appreciating you, and I want good things for you. And so I'm imagining this band of white light that's circling you, and it's actually breezing all over you. So it's this white light, and it's actually not, in fact, it's not even surrounding you, it's covering you. Okay, this white light is covering you, it's surrounding you, it's light, it's love, and I want it covering and surrounding you, and I can see it covering and surrounding you, and I'm sending it to you. I want to share with you that I do have some upcoming interviews, and one's with a Palladian starseed, and they are they have a big following on Instagram, both of them, and it's going to be a dual interview. It's going to be two of them, and they're actually traveling right now. And I think one of them is in South Africa, and the other was in the Netherlands, and I'm here in the United States in New York, coming live from New York. So that's coming up, and I will be here when I can be here, and I love you all, and I want good things for you, and we are together, living in the light. We're together. We're all together. Welcome to the fifth dimension. Bye-bye.